so I don't have to look at for this. So I'm gonna try and identify if these were humans or elves, and if there's any kind of indication of some other thing.
My God.
I should be able to determine gender from bone structure too, actually.
Yeah. You're about to determine a shit ton. You know, the blood type. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, good, the blood type.
You realize... they don't even have blood and you know. No, so you do realize these are elven children. And one is a boy and one is a girl. You're gonna estimate that they are equivalent to elven years, because elves live for eons. They would be in elvish, like, the equivalent of human to, like, 9 to 10 years old. So whatever that is in elven, probably like 612.
I think it's still 9 to 10. I think it starts to get blurry in the 25 to 60 range.
Yeah, like they just stay.
It's 13 to 14 becomes like 25 to 50, and then etc.
Yeah, so you realize this is a boy and a girl, about 9 or 10 elvish children.
Okay, do I get any kind of information of like the length of time that they've been dead?
Yeah, so you see, like, as you're looking at this, they've been dead for at least, you would estimate, based on just other bodies you have seen and such, you would say they've been about dead for a century, maybe 2.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very familiar with bodies that have been dead for a century.
A century or 2.
I'm sorry, like, for the last 5 seconds, you were just a robot. And I couldn't...
Oh, no.
You're both sounding better now. You're good.
Okay.
Did he figure out whether or not, how they died, though? Was he able to determine it?
No, there's still no markings on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
They are pristine skeletons, as if they were just
stripped
made out of a
flesh.
Halloween. Yeah. Just a Halloween decoration. Just perfection.
You can go on and come back to me. I'm gonna take some time to examine the beds as well.
Yeah. Haribo, looked like you were gonna go into the other room there.
Yes, Haribo is going this way for, wait a minute. Oh, I blocked myself off. Okay, there we go. First he's gonna inspect these little doodads over here, these little, I guess, buttresses that are sticking out. Things that look like what could be toilets.
You would be correct. They're toilets. I won't even make you roll for that. Those 3 are toilets.
Oh boy. Haribo will consider looking in the toilets later. He's gonna go into this room.
He's not ready to go full James Sunderland yet and just stick his hand in the toilet.
Nope. Man, Batiari do
it. Yep, so if you want to investigate this room, Haribo.
Let's see. Go,
I'm fine. Because I'm just going to include this room in this as well, just for prosperity's sake.
Yeah, that's fair.
You easily find that there is paperwork in here. Whether you can read it or not is up to you. You see a bunch of blank papers, really, just because of over time they've just don't have ink on them. But you do find one journal. And
Haribo can't read, so he's gonna call for Harold.
All right.
You didn't remember anything I taught you. Woo.
He only learned how to read the map.
Ziminiar, and he like kind of calls you over. He's like, "Come here. I think Haribo found something."
And you hear little squeaks.
And it's Alistair, by the way, my lord.
No one's around. You're fine.
Don't correct him, peasant.
And so you can go in. He lets you go in first as he stands outside and watches guard.
What's up,
walk into the office.
I found some papers with writing on them, but... And Haribo hands Miniard just like a stack of papers, and he goes, well, I can't read.
Haribo, when we get back to town, I'm going to start you on a book about a big red dog.
Okay.
When I was little, I read a Sword on Phoenix once.
Oh.
It's a great novel.
You know what? Maybe we'll start him on that. That might interest him.
Yes, I do hear they came out with a sequel called Hooked on Phonics. Whatever that means. I hate
Oh, I'm
myself.
so happy.
So,
happy right now.
they also had a competing team, though, called Leapfrog.
Yeah?
Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh,
So,
my God.
Are you
Zania-
sure there's also not one called Muzzy?
Oh, I forgot about that.
I was always a fan of that book about the famous rock on the island. What was it called? The Rosetta Stone?
Ah, yes.
Yes. The great novel of Rosetta Stone. Such a marvelous text. Speaking of which, Skinny,
God.
what languages do you know?
I believe I only know Common and Infernal. Yes.
That's brutal. Alright. Cool. You open this up and you do not recognize this language.
Aw, that's so sad. Haribo knows 5 languages and can't read.
Well, you might be able to recognize at least that it's a language you recognize. What languages do you know?
That's
Or what
fair.
languages can you speak, at least?
Druidic, Common, Halfling, Sylvan, and Elven.
Cool. No, this does not look familiar to you either.
Hooray!
So, which it doesn't anyways, but, he's like, Harold peeps in. Did you guys discover what it is yet?
Oh, yeah, we discovered it, but it's not like that we can fully use it unless we take it back with us and find someone who's legible in gibberish.
Would Miles possibly know it?
I regret the question, but let's check.
I'll go get him. As, like, Harold kind of looks, like, over your shoulder, and he's like, yeah, I don't recognize it either. It sounds, like, familiar, but let me go ask. Miles? Oh, my. As he, like, walks, he's like, what in the world happened in here?
I was investigating the mattresses for signs of foul play. Not that signs of it are needed, but you get my drift. What can I do for you, Prince?
Do you recognize this writing? As he hands you, like, a piece of paper. What languages do you know?
Common and Celestial.
You do not recognize this either.
Is it Dwarvish?
I've
Yes,
chosen
it's
the knowing
Dwarvish.
language.
Winslow, no!
It's Dwarfish. I wrote it just for Winslow.
I feel like can I use an insight? Because I feel like it seems like I've been around Winslow enough to if Winslow had written anything, I might have at least recognized and have seen it before.
Yeah, you can definitely do an insight to see if you recognize it. Yeah, you recognize it as Dwarvish.
I pass along this information to Harold.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes,
You might want to come with us as well. I don't think there's anything left to see, and
Well,
I'll make sure to note that we
all
should
right.
lay them to rest.
Well, if there is nothing left to see.
What do you
It's
guys figure
Dwarvish.
out? Oh, great. So maybe next time we could try to not have our party split up by the guards, then? Because the only dwarf we have seems to be not here.
Yes, I do apologize for that. He had brought a family into the castle, and I needed to question him on them.
Okay.
Yes, I remember
That makes
meeting
no
them.
sense.
He's not going to be in jail when we get back, is he?
No. If anything, he's
Okay.
probably back at the church already.
Oh, great. A bunch of Miles is running around and
I'm sure he'll be fine. Are you good,
I'm not.
Scribbles? Are you good? As he sees like guards up ahead now in this room in front of you.
Haribo's just kind of looking around, doing his own thing. Doesn't even pay attention that Harold was addressing him.
He just kind of shakes his head. He's like, we should move on. Unless you guys found some other things you want to take back with you.
hey, Rainbow,
What?
your scribbles.
What?
Your scribbles.
Since when?
Since
Your
Since
name
you-
card.
I didn't write down scribbles.
And he just like cocks his head at you like, Haribo, Scribbles, do you not know how to write?
No, I keep telling everybody this. I can't read and I can't write.
We'll work on
And
it.
y'all keep giving me papers and books.
Well, yes, that's okay. We're gonna go on. And he's like, I'm not gonna get into that right now. He walks into this room and he's just like, whoa. As you see staircases going down into this, and it seems like a very large, another dining hall, but more of like a gathering hall with chairs and tables and little bowls and such still like set up. He's just gonna look, he goes, this is huge. As he walks on down the stairs, he goes, well, they honored the Blessed One.
yeah,
As he's staring at this statue here of a very, not, I want to say basic, but the very common statue of the Blessed One.
Hmm.
Oh, common to what time period, though, I wonder?
Roll a
I should-
history check.
oh, I don't know shit.
Nope.
Makes sense, actually.
Let's see, wait.
Somehow, without being a religious person, Haribo gets a 20.
Yeah,
Another
I'd
nat
be very
20.
impressed.
I would be too.
That's-
Well,
Just
Miles
one-
and Haribo, you recognize that while everything else, well, Miles, you know everything else in this area is at least a century old because of the bodies.
Right.
You and Haribo both realize that this is it doesn't look like this was just placed in here, but it's the modern day, like, stance and how she's always standing and depicted. But you could tell this is a very old statue.
Huh. If only we had a dwarf with us to identify the stonework. But best not to dwell on what could have been.
And Harold starts like looking around at the there we go. And he starts looking at the tables. He like is smelling and like sticking his fingers in kind of like this weird like goop almost. And he's like smelling it and he goes, this was food. It looks like they just got up and not even got up, they just vanished.